Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to another reaction episode to Doctor Who. This is Truth. My name is Matt. Hello. Doctor Who, we're entering what I believe to be the end of the world. I am watching this on the Saturday that it came out, May the 24th. Maybe I'll die before the recording is over, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? The world might just disintegrate at any second. Maybe I'll get frozen in space like Rylan. Last time on Doctor Who, we got I was gonna say the greatest show in the galaxy. That is a 7 Doctor story. A great one, actually. But no, we got the Interstellar Song Contest. There is a lot that happened in that episode. There are some extra things I want to say about it, but this intro is going to run very long if I do that, and I don't think I have the time to do that right now, so I will just try to move along as quickly as I can. But we got the reveal of who Mrs. Flood is. She's the Rani. That is one of the guesses that a lot of us classic fans we have had at some point or another. Not only she's the Rani, but she also bi-generated into another Rani, and now we have 2 Ranis. One of them has Cruella de Vil vibes, and the other one has, I don't know, secretary vibes. She's the goofy one. I was very happy to get the both of them. I immediately pointed out how the vibe that I'm getting from her is not one of like mystery and like I'm afraid of what's gonna happen, but more so just following their perspective, and their perspective is not one of like mystery and like fear, something intimidating. It's something more like someone who's sneaking behind the doctor being like who I'm gonna get him, and that's kind of fun. That creates an antagonist that doesn't feel like this like overpowered and forced, but more so feels like a dude. She's just a gal who's hanging out, and you are kind of rooting for her a little bit just because you keep seeing her actively try to do whatever shenanigans she's doing, and that's something I really like. But it also grounds her in a way that makes her feel more incompetent somewhat, and that was the vibe that I got from her, and I'm excited to see where we go from here, because that is a vibe that I'm very fond of. That said, the world's gonna end apparently today, so I don't know, she's gonna go maybe be up to some fucked up shit. Something I did think about though is that she's maybe not even gonna cause it. We're gonna have another reveal. Because like, if we go from the idea of the Rani being maybe incompetent, then she fails, and it would be really funny if she failed and like whatever her master plan didn't work out, and then someone else who's like even scarier shows up, and then the Rani is like, what? I wasn't even the main antagonist. That would be funny. That would be really fucking funny. I don't know if they would do that, but that would be funny. The Doctor also got visions in his head about Susan calling out to him, and it was straight up Susan. It was Carol Anford, the actress that played Susan in 1963 in the first episode of Doctor Who. It's the first time we see her since then, unless you count Dimensions in Time, which is like it's a weird special. It's like a crossover. I don't even know if it's canon, but like, yeah, Carol M4 shows up again, and it's fucking crazy to see her again after so long. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on that, go watch previous episode. This episode, I don't know what's happening. I was gonna check Wikipedia. I should have done that before this aired, because now I'm gonna get spoiled if I look up Wikipedia, because I was gonna check how many episodes are there in the season. I think there's 8. And if there's 8, then this isn't the final episode. It's, the second to last. Okay, let's just go ahead and watch it. It is the Saturday where this came out. I wanted to watch this as soon as I could, because I don't want to risk spoiling myself. Because, like, the issue with the fucking algorithm reality we live in is that the algorithm knows that I like Doctor Who. I can ignore everything Doctor Who related for like a year, and then the algorithm doesn't care. But now that I'm watching Doctor Who, the algorithm is like, oh, you want to see more Doctor Who content, and then the official Doctor Who channel is start posting all of this shit, and it's just like, dude, I'm trying to like not see anything. Okay, can you do that for me? After I recorded previous episode, I went online and I saw the official Doctor Who channel posting like, the best Rani moments, and I'm just like, dude, because they're trying to capitalize on the hype of the week. I'm trying to do the same thing. Like, I'm gonna be honest here. Like, we're all trying to do the same thing, so I can't really give shit to the Doctor Who channel for it. Well, I can give it a little shit because they're like a multi-billion media corporation, and I am just like a dude who's trying to like eat food. So a little bit of a difference. Sorry, I got distracted in attention. I'm just gonna mention there was something that was brought up to me about maybe there's some parallels to draw between Kid and Gwen in previous episode to some real life events, specifically about the war in Gaza. I had some thoughts about that. I left it in like a it's like hidden in a comment that I left in that video. It's a lot of thoughts. I don't have time to go into that right now because I have a limited time to record, so I'm just gonna record this episode. I will say that it makes me feel a little bit more uncomfortable about the episode that I did before because it is uncertain how many parallels you are supposed to draw, how much of that is intentional, because if it isn't, then that's fine, and I actually didn't even think about that before. But now that you bring it up to me and I think about it, I go like, oh, that feels a little weird. So yeah, doesn't make me hate the episode because I think ultimately it's not doing something like bad here, but it is something where, you know, could have been handled better if that is what we're doing, and it should be the way you do it because of the way the world is currently, right? That's what I think. You should keep that into account whenever you come up with something like this, because it should be addressed with the tact that it deserves. Okay, let's just proceed. Patreon, check out the Patreon link in the description below, pop up on screen. You can support the channel, you can watch full-length reactions to all of these episodes, and you can hear how many times I call Win Eve Miles during previous episode. That did happen a lot. Okay, let's begin. Doctor Who, Series 15, Episode 7. Let's go. Hey!
You're not the midwife.
Am I too late? Just in time.
Violet was in an awful lot of pain, but then a miracle. We were so lucky.
You were born lucky, isn't that what they say? The seventh son of a seventh son.
Maybe a werewolf.
With 7 sons of your own.
Jonas would be a wonderful name. I think it's absolutely terrible. Let me see.
That's such a mean thing to say, and then going like, oh, let me see. Why would you trust this stranger who just came in and said that?
I will be taking little baby. Dankeschön. You've done a very good job, but now he's all mine.
Give me my child back, right now.
Your wife is Violet.
Well,
Your child is the fountainhead of a power from beyond this universe.
so through some superstition, she invokes gods or something. This power is some bullshit.
The 7th son of a 7th son.
A pretty good Iron Maiden song too.
Like a wise old owl.
Ah, I like the Rani. She's camp.
We have things to do in 160 years' time, with one very special wish.
What the fuck?
Stay here forever.
Don't go to work. Stay, stay, stay.
Got to earn a living so that we can have a lovely life together.
Hello.
That is the Space Baby who also showed up in the Barber episode. Are we in an alternate reality or something?
And the weather's going to be nice. All across
It's fucking Conrad. Someone shoot him with a gun. Okay, this is an alternate timeline or something.
Happy morning, Conrad.
Okay, alright. This is an episode. Which world? Okay.
It's time for today's story.
I already...
Doctor Who and the Deadly Witch.
Written by I Am Foreman. This is all coming together, by the way. Doctor Who is a fiction inside of Doctor Who. I said it. So they turn the show into a fiction. Like, I'm immediately thinking, like, this is an alternate reality that... Okay. I'm immediately thinking it's an alternate reality that's gonna be doomed, and then Pop is gonna travel back in time to try and warn us or something.
You need to be careful, okay?
It's a bunch of the same mugs. Hi, Ruby.
Hi.
Are you our Ruby or this Ruby?
Do I know you?
I don't think so.
Are you the doctor?
Would you need a doctor? Is everything okay?
No.
My name is John Smith.
Okay, it had to be John Smith.
Is this some sort of a game? Because I don't really appreciate it on my doorstep.
And you're John Smith's wife. That's your daughter.
Of course it is. That's Poppy.
But she's... No,
She's a space baby.
I'm sorry, but you don't have a daughter.
Oh my god.
That is such an insulting thing to say.
My name's Ruby, I swear. I'm just trying to help. No, please. I didn't mean to just...
Did you say Ruby?
I have someone expressing doubt.
Okay, I see. Someone expressing that. Okay, here we go. It's a dystopia. That's Mel.
I'm sorry, do I know you?
Okay, dystopia. Everyone is altered somehow.
I will sit in silent contemplation and be jolly glad.
Ah, Conrad dystopia. Cool. Ha! That looks so fucking cool, and it's such a disturbing thing to say, and it's just normal. Okay. This is a site. Okay.
The people who lived on the earth, humans.
So you're not humans, or you don't believe yourselves to be human, maybe.
For his next best friend.
Anything, mate? Anything?
I saw that and I knew that that's what it would be. This episode is upsetting to me. Immediately. The only reason why I never bothered to like get into the Fallout franchise is because it looks like this. And I know it's ironic, but I hate everything about this.
It might be a public holiday on May the 24th, but that's tomorrow.
Okay, so it's a special day tomorrow and they all know it.
Time Lords were killed, and Doctor Who was the only.
It's not Doctor Who, it's the Doctor. Fake fan. Well, he's not a fan.
Deborah in account said Kate swears by it, loves it.
Gossiping at work. Oh my god, he's giving him advice into how to raise her up.
She wouldn't have to work. It's undignified. You would be saving her.
Oh my fucking god. This is really pissing me off.
You're a man. How can you find another man beautiful?
That was a slip. Sorry, that was a slip.
I've got it, don't worry.
Oh boy. We're all forced into conservative 50s society. Idyllic unless you are the disabled person right outside that you get to ignore. We finally get to see our family. Okay, so Ruby's someone who's like
It's all very clear.
breaking free of this a little bit. But she seemed unsure of it.
Then good little mother.
And as Conrad says, that's what we're here for.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
How long were you with Poppy in labor?
Doesn't remember. They don't remember. This didn't happen. Yeah, because this is fake.
It's funny, but I can't remember.
This is an upsetting episode, by the way. The thrill of the mystery and some of the visuals are amazing, but it is upsetting.
That was quite a slip.
Don't worry, it's
Slip. Okay, so these slips happen whenever there is doubt or something.
when you doubt something.
Exactly, and that's why they have so many to replace. So it's a world where all you do is conform, and if all you do is conform, then everything's fine. But if you express doubt in any way, bad luck happens, something bad happens. Does she remember more? Okay.
A time lady had survived. It is really her. Here she is.
Is the Randy like a celebrity? I like that Susan Twist is here. I'm sorry, I forgot her name. Susan Twist. Susan something. Okay.
I wonder who she is.
That is thought.
What is wrong with you today?
You wonder?
No, she just...
Why wouldn't you just shut up and admire? Yeah.
She just is. And that's all.
Oh my, okay. He's breaking free, so that's nice to see. It's like the extreme version of just conformity and nothing else. What I hate about this is that I know for a fact that Conrad is completely aware of the situation. He just does this because he likes it, actually. Hi, other Rennie.
Very strong doubts. We're even getting 9s this time of the day.
Whoever this is, it looks awesome. This visual character design looks incredible. Oh, those are the drones from the future. Those are the drones from last episode in the background. Have like bike helmets. Are you feeding Conrad with like, yeah. He has a gaming PC, like a couple books.
Hi. It's been ages.
Oh my god.
You know the mistress. She has a lot of demands, but she thought you'd like this.
Nice. Thanks.
He's also...
Out there.
Oh.
Is it working? Such a lot of hard work. Sometimes I forget about the weather and South Africa gets flooded.
Oh, darling, you're worn out.
I am a bit.
Okay.
Very, very good job. Would I lie? Oh, yes, I would. That's why we found you and saved you. The boy who wants the world to be better.
Was this his wish or the baby they stole?
He's so tiny. He sustains this entire world.
Oh.
It's absolutely terrifying.
Which god are you? I don't think it's fiction. It could be fiction, but I think it's something else. Reality, wish. I love these creatures that are just typing and repeating numbers. I like the role of the two Rannies here. One of them is like the commander and the other one is just the gaslighter. It's like a majordomo, but she's out here just gaslighting fucking Conrad. Just convincing him to do shit. These creatures, so much about this episode is so fucking fascinating.
Could be said that you sprang from my loins.
That's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard.
But it's not untrue.
Doubts at 30%.
set at 2058, and that's when his thinking intensifies.
It's a shame these little people have to die. Tonight, we'll find him. The one who is lost. And then the great work begins.
The one who is lost. I like that. They did it in sync.
They had fallen souls and irrelevant. They could be great friends.
Okay, so they're not fully physical.
It's weird, isn't it?
I don't suppose you could spare us a couple of quid, could you?
No, I shouldn't be talking to you. This isn't right.
Again, like Ruby's having doubts, but she's not. Is she gonna be like, yeah, why shouldn't I?
Is your name Shirley? Ruby.
Okay, good.
The disabled, dispossessed, the ones who don't fit in.
I swear I've never seen this place before.
Uh-huh.
You walk past it every day.
Yeah.
Poor, forgotten, and irrelevant, and that's the way the world is. Sometimes, all of us in the camp get these glimpses.
A glimpse of a better world.
Pardon me if I don't frisk you, but you seem very non-disabled to me.
Oh, well, I could be taller, but yeah.
I love that the disabled they break free because they are the ones that immediately realize that the world is wrong.
There is something wrong with you, my girl. It's my daughter. She's been expressing doubt.
We already had something like this. 73 Hours was like this. Yeah, that happens a lot around here.
We live outside the world, so we can see it better.
We can see when things don't make sense. We haven't got a penny, but I've got this wheelchair. I need medicine, and I've got nothing, but I'm okay.
Bowser's, we're suspended.
Very insightful.
Brian, tell me your theory.
It all comes down to Conrad Clark.
I keep having thoughts about him too.
Like I fucking hate his guts. Like I want to shoot him with a gun.
I don't trust him for a second. Conrad Clark is a monster.
Yes, he is. Everyone, yeah! If I was in this room, I would be like, fuck yeah, let's go!
Being blind gives you magical powers.
Alright.
Oh my god. I love that joke and like the trope.
He's not disabled, so he literally can't see us.
How did Conrad become god of the earth?
So what do you think, Ruby? You don't just sit here all day complaining. You've got plans.
Let's go! The Disabled Resistance Group!
Can you bring down
I love this. Oh fuck yes!
You with us?
Oh, I'm in.
But the secret was beginning to wake.
Susan!
Doctor, can you hear me? I haven't got much time. They're coming. Cell dimension is sliding.
Wait, that's Rogue? That's Rogue!
I can only send you one warning, and this is gonna sound strange, but listen to me. Tables don't do that. Remember. Tables don't do that.
Whatever that means.
I miss you. More than that.
I warn you, Doctor.
Everything is breaking. That's so much doubt. I also love that what is breaking him free from that is the fact that he saw the men that he loved. The symbol of him being queer is what made him go like, this isn't right. Tables don't do that. So this world is fake. And it's only real as long as you believe in it. So when you doubt it, the world goes back to what it was.
Who said?
A very handsome man said it.
There was a man on the TV, and I really liked it.
Uh-huh.
Hello?
So I think this world is like a layer that's placed on top of the real world. And as long as you believe in it, it's real. I was kind of hoping more from Belinda, considering she was having doubts earlier too. It's a lot to break free from. Who's stepping out? I thought it would be her. Her specifically. Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Mom also
There's a child
reported
asleep
her.
upstairs and she's going to need someone with her.
I'm sorry, Belinda. I'm so sorry.
You've been expressing doubt yourself. It contaminates, it breeds, it festers, and it's my job to cut it out. My job and my very great pleasure.
She's such a good villain. I like her. These fucking things are so cool looking. So maybe tomorrow we will believe in them so hard that they will finally fully materialize. It's not just a skeleton. The rest of the creature will come through as well, maybe. Okay, let's go. Disable Resistance Group.
Look,
Okay.
I've got this.
What does it do?
It's one of the relics from the other world.
It's got power.
Like magic.
Why does it feel so familiar?
I know. We think this can help us with Conrad Clark.
See the way the picture links up? Conrad is broadcasting from up there. What if we can block it?
Plan is for Conrad to leave the Bone Palace. And
The Bone Palace.
I just feel like I'll remember, and if I can remember everything, then I can remember the doctor and The world that was.
Is it a teleporter? What is it? Okay, threshold, they said. Okay, here we are.
Remember? Oh, come on, we go way back.
Show me clips from Classic. Show me clips from Mark and Time.
It's called the Seal of Rassilon. Clone-type classicals, basic seeker function animals. Don't you ever wonder deep down in both your hearts and your TARDIS?
Who are you?
I have a child at home. Her name is Poppy. If you just let us go home and look after her. You haven't. What? Got a child.
Ruby.
He's getting there. That's it. 9 minutes. Close down. Lock on it.
Why did they want him to remember? Seems like this is part of the plan.
We danced once upon a time, you and I. People said we were lovers. Can you remember, if that's true? Far away in time and space.
Yes.
I had a different face. So did you, long time ago. Because the tragedy is, we were never enemies. Every villain you ever fought wanted death. I only wanted life. My name is the Rani.
Is he back?
I am the Rani.
No.
And I am the Rani.
We are both the Rani.
We can talk in sync too.
We are the last Time Lord and the last Time Lady from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Castorba. This planet is a lie. This whole world is a wish.
Having a mental breakdown.
Darling, I know this is power. He stirred the gods, Belinda. He woke the most ancient of powers.
Conrad.
You remember this fucking guy, how much you hate him?
The last time we met, you told me I was nothing. So what do you think of me now?
I still think you're pathetic.
Child, Doctor.
Yeah, he doesn't matter. It's the child what we're looking at.
Powerful god of war was born. Desiderium, the god of wishes.
Okay, God of Wishes.
All the world below is a world I have wished.
This is why I would have just shot him.
The Vindicator.
Oh!
Hidden in plain sight. It crisscrossed the universe, creating a web of power to bring you back here. Voiced and bladed energy to roughly the equivalent of
A billion supernovas.
He remembers something.
great enough to amplify the wishes of a god, allowing Conrad to create an entire world. It's full of mistakes and it cannot sustain itself.
This is what slips are.
Doubts are not allowed.
We have doubts. So what if we do?
Yes, Belinda.
Everybody has doubts.
Oh, she's got it. The truth is, the doubts are not the problem. The doubts are the whole point. If you question hard enough, then doubt can crack open the world.
Yes. This is what they want to do. They want the Doctor to remember, and if he remembers, then doubts happen. And then, yeah, whatever this
I
is.
needed you trapped inside the wish.
This war wasn't even the point. It's just part of the process.
If ordinary doubt cracks open the world, then a Time Lord's doubt rips open the structure of reality itself.
Sure. Okay, we open a portal to hell. Okay.
Once reality is broken on a scale as vast as this, I can see underneath, deep within the underverse, the one who is lost.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I was kind of hyped for the Disabled Resistance group, but like, I don't think you guys can do much here. We're kind of cooked.
Tell me who you were looking for.
Omega.
Sure.
The first Time Lord.
Okay.
The creator of the Time Lords.
Okay.
I remember. The doctor is me.
You can't do this!
Oh my god, Belinda.
Take her across the threshold.
The threshold. Oh no. Everything outside of the threshold is just gonna vanish.
I know that you'll try everything to stop me, so I can't take that risk.
Okay. We all just vanish. Pop is gonna save us. Yeah, I mean, I was waiting for that. This is the most to be continued that's ever been. Crazy fucking episode. You kind of expect that with Doctor Who whenever you start getting to the season finales. It's like, I don't know what the fuck bullshit is about to happen, but it's gotta be something. Okay. Yeah, alright. Okay, sure. I'll try to form some coherent thoughts that I can express with my voice. However, this episode, I finished watching it and all I can think about is just like, yeah, all right, man. Like, I don't know. Like, so much of this episode is just like some bullshit that you're just presented and you kind of have to just kind of take. But then the episode itself spends, the entire time just kind of unraveling so you can understand like, oh, this is what we're seeing, this is what this is. And then at the end, you have a bunch of reveals of like, what this was, how did it all come to pass, what exactly is happening. But then you also don't know exactly what is happening. We are left with some cliffhangers of like, okay, hold on, I wanna do something first. Okay, this is something I didn't know about. Omega, born as Felix, also known as the Engineer and Omegon, and worshipped as Oum, was a great intergalactic engineer and one of the founders of Time Lord Society. But centuries of loneliness and isolation bent his mind so that he threatened the entire universe. He was the only person to ever live within the antimatter universe, which he subsequently ruled over while he uses his will to enable him to construct the landscape with the permission of the antimatter creature. However, his existence in this realm robbed him of his body and left only his conscious will intact, a realization that twisted him into murderous insanity aimed towards the Time Lords, whom he blamed for abandoning him to his fate. So when the Rani said that, I was like, I don't know if that is a classic character or not, because like, I know Classic. I don't know everything about Classic. I know some. Omega apparently showed up in The Three Doctors. Season 10, The Three Doctors. Season 20, Arc of Infinity. Series 12, The Timeless Children. Did I forget? In the scene corresponding to the point where Tecteon's male incarnation stands along the other two Time Lords in full high color regalia, the episode script mentions that we can assume the other two might be Rassilon and Omega. Okay. Like, that's the thing, is that the Rani said Omega, the first Time Lord or whatever, and I was like, I mean, it all sprung from the Timeless Child, who's the Doctor. So that's not true. But I guess from like a status kind of situation, it would be true. Like the person who decided, this is a title in noble high society. This is what a Time Lord is. The creator of the name Time Lord. One of the founders of society. Essentially, this is Time Lord George Washington coming in, who got exiled into the Omegaverse or got lost, and then he lost his body, he only has his will, and he is murderous. Okay, sure. Again, this is something that maybe would have gotten a greater pop from someone else. I'm sorry, I didn't have to pop for that one. Like, I have a pop from Rani because I watched Time and the Rani, right? Like, my knowledge is more so in the like 7th Doctor era, like 80s Doctor Who, more so than it is, third Doctor era Doctor Who, 70s. Like, for example, like whenever they mention Adric, it like fucking hit me like a fucking sack of bricks. Whenever they mention Adric in Power of the Doctor, I was like, I remember Adric. I watched enough episodes with Adric to like get to know him, and I watched him die. So that hit me. Sylvester McCoy and Ace fucking hits me. Mel hits me. But like, whenever we start getting into like, okay, here's something for like the 3rd Doctor era, I'm like, I don't got that. I'm sorry, my guy. So yeah, Omega. Sure, the Ryan is bringing out Omega. Is just a murderous Time Lord conscious will that lives in the antimatter universe. That's just what we're doing. We're breaking down reality so that we can go into the antimatter universe or bring the antimatter universe here. I don't know why this is the Rani's plan, but sure, this is what she's doing. What if the Rani goes like, like he was my husband back in the day and I'm trying to free him or something like that. That would be kind of fun, but I don't know if we would do that. Let's talk about the episode itself. This episode was a fucking trip, dog, because like it starts and you're sitting there thinking, I have no clue what's happening. The Doctor and Belinda just wake up in the same bed and they're in 2025. So immediately you're like, wait, they got back home? They couldn't get back home the entire season. That was kind of the point. They get here and then they kiss and you're like, wait, they're together? And in my head, I'm going a million different versions. I'm like thinking like, I don't know. I was thinking like, are we in a reality show they're pretending or something? And then Poppy shows up and I'm like, okay. I'm actually really glad that a person in my comment section pointed out to me who Poppy was, because we saw that child in the story in the engine randomly, and it was brought enough attention to that character that I was like, yeah, okay, that's gonna matter, but I have no idea what that is. And someone pointed out that is Poppy from Space Babies, and I was like, okay, I would have never gotten there. I would have never realized that. Never in a million years I would have realized that. But that made me think, okay, we have a recurring character that matters. It's named. So this is going to be important in the future. So I filed that in. And then when she shows up in this episode, I'm immediately thinking like, okay, we're in an alternate universe of some kind. Because we see her in the story in the engine, and immediately where my brain goes to is that like, Poppy's gonna like somehow be the sole survivor of this reality and like travel. She's gonna fall out of the universe and fall into an alternate universe in the past. She's gonna be in Nigeria for the doctor and Belinda to see. The doctor didn't see her, I don't think. And she might be someone that can like help us by time traveling to the past and, you know, providing us with some kind of information that we can use in order to like save the world or something. But like at the same time, I'm looking at I'm looking at Poppy, and it's like, well, it's like a baby, so like I don't know how much she can do for us. Yeah, it's a toddler. Didn't she have a voice in Space Babies? But okay, the episode throws this shit at me, and then Ruby shows up, and I do have to say immediately, I think that this is something that Russell T Davies has done with the seasons that is one of my favorite parts about them, and it's, you know, when you're watching The Stolen Earth, and it goes like Martha Jones at Unit, Torchwood, Captain Jack, Gwen and Yanto, and then it goes Sarah Jane Smith, Sergeant Adventures, Mr. Smith, K9, and Sarah Jane's son, I'm sorry I forgot his name. We got Wilfred and Sylvia, you know, and then Rose shows up, and we got Jackie and Mickey, and that is something that was amazing to see, because it truly felt like, it felt like, that's why the first Russell T Davies era was so fucking good. It's because like everything that came after that felt like it wasn't part of the same world. Like as soon as Stephen Moffat came in as the showrunner, it felt like we were watching a different show. And that was like a deliberate conscious choice. But like something I truly loved, and I think most people did, is that whenever you're watching the first Russell T Davies era, you watch Rose and Jackie and Mickey, and they are recurring. They appear in the first episode, and then they appear later in like Father's Day and the Cyberman episode, and of course when they come back to Earth in Bad Wolf, Boomtown as well, right? Like we have so many episodes where they just consistently become characters that we revisit over and over, because the thing in Doctor Who, it's very easy to just go to a different place and then just do some bullshit there, and then nothing else matters. It's just like, okay, we do this and then we do that and then we do this other thing, and the only people that matter are the Doctor and the companion or companions, and that's it. The original Russell T Davies era had this thing where like we have like ongoing characterization for fucking Mickey. We have ongoing characterization for like Harriet Jones. We have ongoing characterization for like Wilfred and Sylvia, and it's like these are characters that like they are reoccurring, and you keep going like, oh shit. And like immediately when the 60th anniversary special came along, immediately that's what he did. He was like, here's Donut, here's David Tennant again. It's the 14th Doctor, but it's just kind of the 10th World Doctor again. But then you get Sylvia, you get fucking, what was his name? Sean Temple Novel, whatever the fuck. We got that guy again, and it's the same actor. And immediately it feels like this is all connected, right? Like immediately the world feels alive again. Because if I'm watching a story where it's just like the 11th Doctor and Amy just go a place and they just fight vampires or whatever, and then like that's it, it's like, okay, it doesn't really feel like it's connected to anything. I don't mean to rag on Stephen Moffat, because that's not what I'm doing here, but I'm thinking about like other season, and it's like, okay, then River's song shows up, and it's like everything it rolls about River's song or whatever, and it's like, okay, that isn't really connected at all. The only thing I think about is how like Winston Churchill like appeared a couple times, and that was something that was kind of connected, you know. Vincent van Gogh left a painting that was just like, oh, everything blows up or whatever, and it's like that is kind of connected, but it doesn't feel like there is like a character behind that, right? We don't get to see them again. We don't get to learn more about them and spend time with them, and that is something that has felt. Doctor Who has never felt that way, except when, okay, except when Russell T Davies is at the helm, and also some minor instances of Chibnall doing the same. I'm thinking about Power of the Doctor. And Power of the Doctor felt like a celebration, and it kind of was. It was like a celebration of like an anniversary or something. And that's why you get to see Ace back. You get to see Melanie back. The thing is that whenever characters that are reoccurring happen on some of those seasons, like 5 to like, I don't know, 11, it feels more like a cameo, just like, look at the character that you like. Isn't that great? And then it's like, yeah, it's cool. But seeing like, I don't know, fucking Mickey in episode 1 of series 1, and then he appears again and again and again, and it's just, let's not talk about Noel Clarke, by the way. Let's not talk about that dude. But just the character of Mickey reappears over and over again, and you kind of have this like ongoing character for him and what he's about, right? Like, you kind of feel bad for him at a point, and then you kind of like, he comes to terms with that, what his role is in Rose's life, and what he wants in an alternate universe with like his granddaughter and stuff, grandmother, and then what his choices are, you know, when he decides to stay behind, because it's like, you know, I kind of like it here, and the other Mickey died, so it would be nice if I could take his place here, because people kind of need a Mickey, and back there no one really does. But then he comes back when all this bullshit happens in Doomsday, and it's like, yeah, same goes for like fucking Jackie and Pete, Rose's dad, Pete, and then alternate Pete, and then again Martha, and then Martha reappears next season, sort of like Ruby is doing here. Sorry, I'm going on this like huge tangent of like series 1 to 4. In like the episode with like the Sontarans in series 4, we got Martha back, we got Unit back, we got Wilfred, and we got Sylvia. You know, and these are characters that reoccur. Now here, whenever I'm watching this era of the show again, series 15. Series 14, not so much, because we didn't really have much established, but series 15 truly feels like, okay, we're doing the exact same thing. Here's Ruby. We spent an entire episode with Ruby and like Kate Leversewer and like the Unit gang. We watched fucking Conrad or whatever. Like, that was the episode, and it was just following Ruby, just like casually. The Doctor's not here, Belinda's not here. It's fucking Ruby. Okay, this episode comes along. Ruby's here. She's a main character. She's a main player. Kind of, and she meets the disabled lady from Unit. I'm really sorry. I feel really bad that I don't know her name at this point. I'm really bad with names from characters that are not like consistent like every episode. I really struggle remembering. But we get to see them again, and you know, the entire Unit play. We get to see every person from Unit working where the Doctor is working, right? And fucking Poppy even. It's in fucking Conrad again, and Conrad is this like big player, and it's this thing of like, this, it really feels, it doesn't feel like an episodic whatever, we go to a new place and some new problem arises. It's like, no, this is all connected, and it feels like a world that is alive, right? Like, that's really how it feels like. It's a world that is alive. We got to see fucking Ruby's mom and Ruby's grandma again, and like, those are characters that are so minor, but they matter because we see them. They matter because we keep reiterating that they exist in this world, and this is the role that they fulfill. They matter to Ruby, and Ruby matters to us because we're going to keep showing them. And this is something that I truly deeply love about the Russell T Davies first and second era of the show now, because this entire episode, if we fucking follow Mel is a character from, well, she was when the Randy appeared in the episode that I talked about last week. Like that is the level of like classic status that Mel has. Is that she was around from an episode in 1987, and that's when she left. By the way, she left in that season. So Mel was a character that has been gone since 1987. She is a regular. She's not just like a, hey, here's a cameo, look, it's Mel. It's like, no, she's a regular, actually. She has appeared in the 60th anniversary specials. She has appeared during the regular season, previous season. She was around for the entirety of the finale, and it was kind of a major plot point of Mel like becoming possessed by Soothleg and dying. But then she's back again, and we're happy. And at this point, again, she shows up in this episode once more. She's just the Doctor's neighbor, and it's like, yeah, it's Mel, and it's I love that so much. It's like Mel is the same, like, it's the new like Sarah Jane Smith kind of, you know, like Sarah Jane again is a character from classic Doctor Who third and fourth Doctor's era, and then it's like, here she is, and she just has her own show. She just appears regularly in Doctor Who now, and it's like that. The world feels so alive because we keep having characters that matter. And they matter because they keep showing up again and doing things, and we get to see them feel and emote and think and go through struggle. And it's like, it matters. They matter. The world matters. And that is like the best compliment I can give to the first RTD era of Doctor Who, series 1 to 4, and this one as well, series 14 and 15 now. This is the Doctor Who that I deeply love. And that is not any like negative comments being thrown at any other showrunner. That's not what I'm doing here, because I really enjoy the show in any form it takes, and part of the charm of it is that it constantly reinvents itself and it changes, you know, just like the Doctor. But this is, I think the first art year of the show is my favorite era of the show. They're not my favorite seasons. My favorite season is series 9 and maybe 10, which is Moffat era. My favorite Doctor is the 12th Doctor and the 7th Doctor, you know? But I think in terms of the charm, the vibe, and the consistency, and just how good it feels, I think the first art year of the show makes me feel that way. And so does this one. This era of the show makes me feel really good. It makes me sad that these are only like 8 episodes because it's like modern streaming service bullshit, but like I really love this era of the show, and I want more. I really hope that Ncuti stays for more than 3 seasons. Usually it's 3 seasons, but I really hope it's more than that. And I hope that it's RTD and Ncuti just staying around for like at least 4, maybe even more. Because I was having this realization. Sorry, like I'm not even talking about this episode. I'm just talking about how I feel about it. It's weird. But I was having this realization the other day. I was talking to my friend and I was like, I think that I hit the point where like I love this Doctor and I love this era of the show. And it makes me feel so good to watch this. And I have fully embraced Ncuti Gatwa and the 15th Doctor. And what I mean by that is that I think with this show, the way it feels like for me is that I'm watching it and I know this is the Doctor, but it takes a while for me to like accept that character in my heart, right? Like I am following the character, but it takes a while, and usually takes like a specific, like not a specific, but like some kind of emotion that has to elicit in me in order to make me go like, all right, this is my Doctor. And I don't mean that in like my favorite, but in like I embrace everything that you are into my heart, and now you are the Doctor for me, right? And because like the nature of the show, there's so many Doctors, because there's so many fucking seasons of this goddamn show, that whenever you're watching Doctor Who, you know logically like, oh yeah, that's the Doctor, but it takes a while for you to take that character into you. And I think that this season I have fully taken Ncuti into my heart. I'm like, this is my guy. I love this Doctor, and I don't want him to go. For example, I unfortunately don't think I ever felt that way with the 13th Doctor. That is an example that I can give you. I didn't dislike her, and I don't think that is Whittaker's fault. I think Jodie did the best she could possibly do, but I think that some of the stories and scripts and lines and stuff that she was given, like it never felt to me like she had any moment where I just felt so comfortable around this character. But whenever I'm watching the 15th Doctor, whenever I'm watching Ncuti, and the way he's just like, it's just like the little things where like, I don't know, I was just rewatching the ending of Devil's Court on YouTube, just like the musical feature, and whenever like I'm watching him and the way he just like goes like, and he just gets so happy, and he goes like super smiling and does all this like little gestures, and he like skips around, and then whenever he's like, there's like a moment where like Ruby and Scylla, they are singing There's Always a Twist, and then it comes to like the Doctor and an entire like entourage of people dancing in the booth while recording, and the Doctor is just like doing this. He's so happy, and I'm like, I never got that during like the 13 Doctors era, and that really felt like a detriment to the 13 Doctors and how I felt about her. And that's not on the fault of the actress, that is on the fault of like what they made the actress do, or more so specifically what they didn't make her do. This is the most fun Doctor we've ever had, and I'm vibing with him so hard. I went into this huge tangent. I'm sorry. I'm not even talking about this episode. I'm just talking about how much I fucking love Doctor Who. This episode presents so many cool like visuals to you. The crazy, like, I don't know what they are. Some kind of skeletal giant kaiju creatures just walking around. They are somewhat intangible. They're just walking around. It looks so cool. You have like a bone tower, whatever that is. It looks like some... I've seen a couple of these on YouTube sometimes because there's a genre of horror on YouTube that is like analog horror. I enjoy Monument Mythos, which is more like an analog thriller. But then there's also something similar that is just like unreality horror. I don't know what the term is, but it's something like that, where it's just like YouTube videos that are like recordings of like something that it should be normal, but they like CGI, or they make graphics that make it look like something really fucked up is happening that is not normal, right? And just like the striking visual of the contrast of like, you know, here's like a skyline and then there's like a giant thing in the back and it's just recorded as if it was just a normal thing, and you go like, whoa, what the fuck? And then the video just ends, and it really is just a striking visual. It's just like a snapshot of that, just a striking visual presented to you as like, oh, that's crazy, that's wild. This episode did that with those like giant kaiju things and the giant bone tower. It was such a good visual seeing that, you know, the idyllic like urban conservative life of, you know, the doctor walks out and then looks up and it's with that fucking thing, and they go like, isn't it great? And it's like, oh my god. What I will say is that when I was watching this episode, I fucking hated it at first because it really was the quote-unquote idyllic conservative life of like, you know, as long as you don't ask any questions, everything will be fine. As soon as anyone asked any questions or had any sense of like wonder or doubt, everything falls apart. And like, it makes so much sense that they made Conrad do that. It's Conrad's wish to turn the world into this. And like, this is why I said that I would have just shot him. This is why I would have just shot him. This is why we should have just shot him. That's how I feel about Conrad, you know? Like, somebody should just end this dude. Because, like, this is the kind of guy who really makes the world the way. Like, every worst thing that is part of the world is because of a person like this. So it makes so much sense that this is a role that he's fulfilling, right? Because, like, all he wants is control. All he wants is to feel like he's the center of the world. And then the Rani comes in and it's like, okay, I'm going to give you that exactly. And that's everything that you are. And it's like, yeah, he will happily sacrifice the entire world in order to turn it into a world where he gets to be on the screen. He is the center of attention. Everybody knows him. He is the focus of all. The entire of society moves behind Conrad and whatever story Conrad is telling. It's just full control, and not even just control, but also just like, I get to be the center of everything. And it's like, the way in which society falls apart is completely irrelevant to him. And I love that. And this, I hate it when the episode was that. Everyone just look at you like, what did you say? Whenever like anyone expressed doubt, like it made me feel bad inside. And I mentioned for a second, like the reason why I don't play Fallout games, I mean, I would, I just haven't yet. But one of the reasons why I never really bother much is because they go for that like 50s conservative aesthetic. I never really like that. And I know it's ironic in the game. I know there's like a hint of irony on like the way it works in the world, like why it looks like that. Like I understand that. It doesn't really make a difference. I just hate looking at it, right? Because it's just like I don't know. In my head, it's like this like perfect 50s housewife that is just like full conforming, and it's just like, I don't have any thoughts or desires. That's everything that I am. I just have to look pretty, and it's like. Okay, and they made a comment like that in this episode as well when they, I don't know, when Belinda's like mom and grandma showed up and they were like, yes, we don't do anything and you shouldn't either or something like that. Or like when the doctor was talking to the other guy from Unit, I'm sorry, I also don't know his name, the guy who looks kind of handsome that Kate has a thing for, like that guy. And the doctor said like, you know, like she's a woman and she's working, you know. If she could, you would be doing her a favor. She's not supposed to do. It's something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something that made me go like, I hate this world. I hate it so much. It pisses me off so hard. And like clearly that is intentional. Like clearly this is what the episode is, right? Like I know writers who utilize subtlety and they're all a bunch of cowards is a quote from Russell T Davies, probably, right? Like that's something that he has thought like, yeah, fuck him. We're just going to do this way because I have shit I want to say about the world. And like, I love, we got a cameo from Rogue. Rogue showed up and he was like, doctor, the table is not a table. Like, you got to focus on that. And it's like, I miss you. And more than that, I love you. He just said it, right? And I love that earlier in the episode, like the doctor expressed like, okay, so the 15th Doctor is openly gay. At this point, we know that. But this becomes a plot point in which, like, he is having a doubt that manifests in a way that everyone's like, what do you say? Like, that's not right. A man can be with another man. You can see another man as, handsome or whatever. And it's like, okay, not even handsome, but beautiful, right? That's what he said, I think. And then it makes sense for Rogue. I don't know how Rogue shows up. The Rogue is fucking dead. Or like lost. Rogue is lost, actually. He might be in the Negaverse, and then maybe he can get him back. That would be cool. But yeah, Rogue shows up, and Rogue, it makes so much sense that Rogue is the thing that like pushes the Doctor to like question things, because it's like, essentially, remember, you like men. You love me. We had a thing. And it makes so much sense for the Doctor to like snap out of it because of the men that he loved. Even though it was like a one-off kind of thing, it would have lasted longer, but it was a one-off kind of thing because he kind of died at the end of that episode. But it makes sense for this to be the thing that pulls him out of it. And it's like, oh, he starts asking things because of Rogue. That's cool. It's cool that they brought him back and utilized him in that specific way. But yeah, all of this is intentional in the way that they present this, because this is like the extreme conservative dystopia. It's not an utopia. For sure, it's not an utopia. It's full of dystopia. I had to remember in my head which one was the bad one and which one was the good one. But this is the bad one. This is like an extreme version of what that idea could be. Of like, no free thought is allowed. And we have had many stories like that. Like this is not new. But it is what we're dealing with this in this episode. But it is certainly something that is being floated to us and presented to us just based on the real world and when we see it. And it's just like, I have shit to say about that. And the part that I love about this episode that I was like, fuck yeah, is whenever the Disable Underground Resistance group showed up. I was like, fuck yes. And I was like, it makes so much sense that the Disable are the ones that break free from, like, the ones that start having doubts first, and they start to see reality for what it is, because that is the case in real life as well. The people who have the least, the people who have to deal with hardships that other people usually do not, are the people that see the ways in which society isn't fair all the more clearly. And those are the people that usually end up gravitating towards like, wait, how come we're not doing anything about this? We should be doing a little bit more about that. And you start to see, the ways in which other people are also suffering because of that. And you start going like, hold on, you start asking questions. Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? We should be doing this for those people. We should be doing both for those people. It makes so much sense that the Disabled are the ones that are like, we see the doubts and we are the outcasts of society just by simply existing. Like, they didn't ask for that, but they are given this fucked up life and they just kind of have to deal with that because society doesn't give a fuck about them. In fact, no one is allowed to talk to them or like give them anything, which is okay. But like, we get to see how they start like breaking free from that before anyone else. In fact, they already have this like resistant group that is just like a bunch of disabled people, can't walk, wheelchair, mute, deaf maybe. I love that we had this was very minor, but it was like there was a deaf person. I love that the person next to them were like translating everything. I guess it was a mute person, maybe deaf mute. It was translating everything, but then when they were talking as well, even though it wasn't like a translation or anything addressed to the person that's deaf, the person next to them keep making signs, keep signing everything that they were saying or everyone was saying, because it's like, yeah, it's like the small inclusion that is just being shown to us, that it's like, yes, this is a group of people that cares. And it would be weird if that they didn't do that, actually, if they didn't translate everything that was happening in that scene. But I like that is such a minor thing that maybe you're watching this and you don't realize how much that matters. But I noticed it and I was like, oh, that's nice. The person next to them can understand what's the conversation about. Like, I remember hearing, like, I read a post at one point of someone who wasn't deaf, but I think their like sibling was deaf or something like that. And it was someone that understood, sign language because of that reason. I'm sorry, I keep making fake signs. I don't know sign language. I actually should. I should learn sign language at some point. It is a fucked up thing in like the education system that sign language is not it isn't more prevalent than it should be. Because like, I this is actually something that's kind of cool. The other day I went to vote. I had to vote earlier this month, and I remember I walked into the school, and one of the first things that was in like a wall at like the entrance of the school was just like a poster with a bunch of signs. and what they meant. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I was like, this is such a cool thing to like teach children, that they should like know at least like a bare minimum. And I was like, how come I didn't get that in my school? Like, I don't know if it's the thing about the times, or just my school sucked, or the education system sucked when I was younger. But I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh, that's really cool how inclusive that is, because children should learn that more. And I remember I read this post one time, and it was someone that had like a sibling who was like deaf or something. And I remember they knew sign language, and they were talking about how they went to like get some laundry done or something, and they saw this old lady who was just kind of sitting alone, just like a chair, not talking to anybody. And I remember how it happened, but essentially they saw that this lady was deaf, and then she just approached her and just started talking to her with sign language. And the old lady was so thrilled to have someone to talk to. Like, this person describes how they had this like long, nice conversation, and the old lady was like, yeah, because like I don't really get to talk to people anymore. And I was like, that really fucked me up, because it was the sense of like this old lady, and it's like she doesn't really have people to talk to, because it's already difficult to just be like an old lady who's just like, okay, maybe other people in your life like moved on, they either died or they have their own lives, and then it's just like you're also deaf. People in society generally don't know how to talk to you, so you kind of exist in this like quiet loneliness that is like impossible to punch your way out of. And the only thing that can really do it is just another kind soul that just happens to know the language, and you can interact with them. And it's just like, she was so happy to just meet this random like woman in her like 20s or something, who was like, oh, I just happened to know sign language, and they just talked to each other, and the old lady was just so happy. And that really fucked me, dude. And I like, it's those things where like most people don't think about that. Most people don't realize that. You just see an old lady sitting alone, but you don't realize like what her life is like as a result of her disability. I love that the disabled here are the group that see the world much clearer than anyone else immediately, because they can see the injustice in it. They can see how it doesn't make any goddamn sense. And it's also a mirror of reality. We're seeing this like fantasy version of it, this wished version that Conrad made, but the reality is that the real world is also like that. Not to this degree, not to this extreme, but to some people, and especially the disabled, it does feel like that. This is very real. Like, again, how many of us have heard this like thing of like, oh, that guy who's like begging for money on the street or whatever, he's just gonna use it to go buy drugs or booze or whatever. Or like, it's secretly like a wealthy person that is just trying to get money out of you, trying to scam you. And it's like, how fucked up is that? That is just like a thing that you hear. And I remember being told that as like a kid. How fucked up is to teach that to children? And it's like, instead of it being like a person who is struggling to live. And it definitely, I think, comes also from like a place of like, people don't want to think about it that way. Because if you think about it that way, then your world kind of falls apart. Because it means that you are enjoying this world at the expense of other people. And that is a reality that a lot of people are not comfortable with. The fact that the world you live in is one where you are privileged and other people are not. So if you just make up in your mind the idea that everyone was afforded the same opportunity and everyone was afforded the same place, and it's just their fucking fault if they didn't manage to like get to the place that I'm at where I'm okay, then it's fucking good luck to them. Fuck them, you know, like it's their problem, not mine. And I hate that thought. I hate that like individualistic like idea of what reality is. And this is what this episode was really about in a lot of moments. And I love that the disabled are the people that see it clearly, like immediately. I would have loved if they had more of a role, but maybe they will next episode. I don't know. You know, when the entire world started to fall apart and collapse, I was like, yeah, that sucks. Like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I was really excited for you, but this doesn't look like something we can do anything about. This looks bad. All right. Let me skim through the episode. What else do we talk about? Susan showed up for a second. I don't know what that meant. She just showed up on the TV for a second. I don't know exactly how we can do anything with that. Maybe it'll matter next episode. Okay, so now I'm sitting here thinking, what the doctor said at the end of the episode? Don't you understand Poppy is real? Do you know what that means? I mean, he literally leaves you this episode with that question so you work. This is like homework, right? This is being given to you saying, think about this question because it's gonna matter next episode. So then, like, I don't really participate in Doctor Who fandom because, you know, afraid of spoilers and also bad interactions with the Doctor Who fanbase. I think that there's a lot of Doctor Who fans who are not Doctor Who fans. They just like to show up and yell at things. And I just like, I don't want to deal with you. Like, I'm sorry. I think you're stupid and pathetic, but I also don't have the energy to want to deal with that. If I see one of those showing up in my comment section, I just shoot them on sight and it's just like, you're gone forever. I don't want to deal with you. And then I just move on with my life. But the question that the doctor leaves us really feels like an exercise for the fandom. It's homework. It's literally homework of like, think about this question for the next like 7 days until we get to the answer. And maybe you'll see a confirmation that your answer was right or it wasn't. That's what that is to me. And now I'm sitting here thinking, what does that mean? Because Poppy's clearly an answer here. The answer. Because we saw Poppy in the engine, the story in the engine. So that means that Poppy mattered in a way. How? I'm not sure. Okay. Poppy is from Space Babies. The doctor said Poppy is real. I don't have a daughter, Poppy is real. I don't have a daughter, Poppy is real. What does that mean? Because he also said it in like a way that it was like obvious if you think about it. I mean, I guess I'm starting to think about it and I'm like, because if the Rani didn't place Poppy here, why should she? Then what is Poppy doing here? And I'm thinking about Poppy came here to like deliver a message or like enact some kind of change or be someone important in this time. Like that's what I'm thinking immediately, and that's just the vibe that I got right off the gate, which is like, Poppy is our savior. The fact that Poppy is here means that Poppy matters and Poppy is actually going to be the MacGuffin that we use to survive and turn everything back to normal and everything's going to be fine because of Poppy. But I don't know exactly in which way we're going to arrive to that point. And it could be a bunch of shit. It could be like, I don't know, Poppy is the doctor. Poppy is Susan. I don't fucking know. Poppy is the Rani. Poppy is the master. Like, I'm literally just throwing shit at the wall right now. I'm just like, throwing darts. Poppy is God. I don't know. Speaking of God, should I talk about Conrad? I really don't want to talk about God. I feel like I said everything I wanted to say about Conrad in like the episode where Conrad was in, and I think okay, actually a little behind the scenes here. In the episode after the Conrad episode, I think it was the story in the engine, yeah. I had an intro that was like 15 minutes long because I went into like a 10-minute tangent about Conrad at the beginning of the episode. And during the editing, I was like, I'm just gonna take this out. Nobody wants to hear this. Nobody wants to hear me rant about Conrad and why I fucking hate him so much. In an episode where that doesn't matter anymore. At the beginning, I'm like, I'm gonna cut this out. This has to go away. But something I can say about that maybe I don't think that, because it's something that I work through off camera. Because I like replying to people in the Doctor comment section when they're not mean and I don't just like delete them. During the Conrad episode, and I will read my own comment. Because someone mentioned that Lindy Pepperbean has a competitor for being like the worst person ever. And I remember I read that and I was like, I will read my own comment here. This is what I said. This is probably largely a result of personal experiences, but Conrad triggers something much more primal in me than Lindy did. Both are awful real characters in a way that they are representation of real people in the real world, but Conrad is someone that is so much more upsetting to me personally. Part of it is definitely that I don't have to deal with the bullshit that 15 had to do at the end of Dot and Bubble because I'm just not a person in that particular position. But I think it is also the fact that for all the horrible things that Lindy and the entirety of the colony are, they at least believe in something bad and wrong, but it is a belief that they hold, mostly due to the context of where they exist shaping them. But Conrad as an individual, however, is a tar pit. He serves no purpose other than to drag others down into a spiral of fear, anger, and misery, all for a fleeting sense of power and monetary gain. Conrad holds no beliefs and has no qualms about anything that he does. There's not a shred of concern or care for any other human on the planet, just a set of figures he can manipulate to maximize personal gain, which is all too easy in the modern era of internet information control under capitalism. And I don't know, me personally, I'd rather you just call me slurs or something. At least shows me that you're a flawed, fucked up human being with poison in your brain, and not just a void sucking the life out of everything around you. People such as Conrad create Lindis. We see how he points at the unit wheelchair lady and just spreads rumor that she's collecting benefits because she's just an easy target, like all minorities or anyone who's slightly different. And they do it for no reason, just the ego boost and a quick buck. That is how I feel about Conrad. That is why I hate Conrad so much. I love that I mentioned the wheelchair lady thing because that's exactly what happened in this episode. She is in that exact same situation where she is the easy target and she is the one that sees it all too clearly. That is what Conrad is to me. And that is why he's the worst. That is why I hate him so much. He goes against every single one of the not just beliefs, but also everything that I am as a person. Conrad is the opposite. It's such a feeling that makes me go, you're wrong. Everything about you is wrong. There's no saving it. I kind of want to just shoot you in the face. And that is a crazy thing for me to say because I genuinely don't believe that anyone should be put in a position where they are. I don't believe in punishment of that regard of we judge who gets to live and who gets to die. I don't believe in that. I don't think anyone should have that level of control over another human creature. I don't think so. However, I really hate Conrad. That's where I'm at. And in this episode, he fulfills the exact role he's meant to fulfill, which is he wishes for a world where he gets to be the center of the world, and anyone who asks any questions, anyone who's not a mindless drone, who is just there to look at a Conrad, really. Conrad doesn't like an audience in the sense that he doesn't really care about the audience, about the people that watch him. Conrad only cares about the fact that people are watching. It doesn't matter if they are mindless drones being forced to do so. He's the center of attention, therefore the world is perfect. The weird part about Conrad, though, is that in this episode, he also had a moment where they gave him a sandwich and she was like, oh my god. It is the irony of the fact that Conrad is still a prisoner. They rescued him from a prison and put him in a new prison. This time they're just using him. They got him a nice sandwich with some what was it, salami or whatever from France or whatever. They just got him some food. And Mrs. Flood came along and he said something oh my god, thank you, it's been so long, something like that. It really made me feel okay, Conrad has been in this room just reading Doctor Who, and we're gonna talk about that. Oh my god, I've been talking for an hour and I haven't even gotten there, but he's just doing this thing, just maintaining the status quo because it's also part of his job. And it's you're still a prison. You're a prison inside of the society you yourself devised. That is the irony of it. That is how much this guy fucking sucks and how idiotic and doesn't make any goddamn sense this thing is. But he also had a moment where he gives Mrs. Flood a hug, which is fascinating to me because I can read so many things from that. We could read something Conrad never knew the love of a mother because we saw that. So now he's transfixing that a little bit into Mrs. Flood and he's oh, she's nice, thank you. But also, more clearly to me, immediately I thought he starved for human connection because of course there's no human connection in this society because of his own device, because of his own machination. This is what he wished for and he's still not getting what he wants. So he kind of looks at Mrs. Flood and uses her as a way in which he can get a little bit of that, which is fascinating to me because it's are you trying to make me feel bad for the worst person who ever lived? I'm never gonna feel bad about this dude. I think it would be fascinating if we did it. I think it would be very, very interesting. I would kind of like it a lot. It's not gonna make me like him. I would like it that would be the case, and it would make me happy to see him being miserable, even in the situation where he himself has full control. He doesn't, but he thinks that he does. He wished for the entire world to change according to the vision that he has, and it was still something that he was actually, I'm lonely. That made me happy. Mostly because I just want him to suffer, but also just seeing this smugness of this is clearly what I want, and then it's that's not what you want. You're just fucking stupid. Anyway, so that's Conrad to me. He's so fucking pathetic. Also kind of goes hand in hand with what happened near the end. They didn't even draw too much attention to it, but I did. Which is Conrad shows up holding the baby, and it's remember me, doctor, last time we talked, you told me I was nothing. And then the Rani goes like, not him, the baby. And it's this thing of like, he's still nothing. He is actually still nothing. They are ignoring him. And that is also something that was really cool, I think, is that the world that we had, Wish World, also didn't matter. It was just part of the process. That is what the Rani says. It doesn't matter that this is the world we're in. What matters is that people have doubts. And those are not mistakes. They are the point. We want people to have doubts because when you have doubts, the reality of the wish breaks. Then I get to open a portal into the Negaverse or whatever the fuck. The Underverse. But that means that this world doesn't fucking matter to her. This world is just part of the plan. Is part of the process. Is not the end goal. This is just like, yeah, I just needed a fucking loser like Conrad to create this world. So then I can just open a hole in the floor and then everything goes to shit because like I actually don't care about this or whatever he wished for. I only want to rip open the planet. That's the only thing I want. I want to break the universe in half. And I'm using him to do that. But like, I don't fucking care about what he wants or what this is. This doesn't matter to me. It's completely irrelevant. It's just part of the process. And I love that so much. I love that so much because like, Conrad continues to be the most pathetic person who has ever existed. And he was already the most pathetic person who has ever existed just in nature of being what he is. But I love that the doctor tells him, you're fucking nothing and you don't matter. And then in this episode, he thinks that he matters. He thinks that he's something. And then the Rani is like, no, this was nothing. And I think maybe the final thing we can talk about is how Doctor Who's a fiction inside of this world. Which, like, okay, I was thinking about like, why would they give that fiction to the people? And I was like, well, because the Rani is trying to get him to remember. That's it. That's the reason why. They are passively bombarding the Doctor with ways in which he can maybe remember so that they may fulfill their plan. I don't know if there were hints scattered throughout the season, even going back all the way back to Joy to the World, because maybe there weren't hints, maybe I was just looking too hard into it, but I somehow stumbled onto something that was real, which was, I kept thinking like Doctor Who is a fiction inside of Doctor Who, you know? My theory was like the God of Fiction or something like that. We got the God of Wishes, close enough, but that wasn't exactly what we were doing. It wasn't as for wall breaky, but they did turn Doctor Who, the story, into fiction inside of Doctor Who for different purposes, but we stumble backwards and landed in the exact same spot where we have a book that just says Doctor Who with the Doctor's face on it inside of Doctor Who. So kind of arrive there anyway. But yeah, the only reason why they do that is to, like, I guess try to passively get the Doctor to remember, which is the whole point of this. This is the whole reason why they're doing this. Everything that this world is, everything about this society is completely secondary and just process to the ending of the episode. I have to sit here thinking about whatever the fuck the Doctor meant by, don't you realize Poppy is real? Do you know what that means? He said, I have a daughter, Poppy is real. I mean, Belinda didn't give birth to her. Hold on. I'm cooking. I'm literally just taking what the Doctor said now and I'm immediately just using it in the most like clear, direct way I can think about it. Because the Doctor has remembered. By this point, the Doctor remembers everything. So what he says is not coming from the perspective of like John Smith, the dad. This is coming from the perspective of the Doctor who remembers. I have a daughter. Poppy is real. We know Belinda didn't give birth, but did the Doctor give birth? Mpreg is not out of the question. First of all, the Doctor's an alien. Second of all, Captain Jack Harkness confirmed that he was Mpreg in the first minute of the first episode of season 1 of Torchwood. That is like a thing that he just dropped casually. It's also, again, the Doctor's an alien, you know? The Doctor could just, maybe the Doctor bi-generated again. Maybe Poppy is another version of the Doctor. We just have another mini Doctor running around, but it's kind of like a child, you know? Actually, Time Lord Society happens entirely through mitosis. But okay, the Doctor says, I have a daughter, Poppy is real. Okay, here's the thing. This has to connect to Susan somehow. How do we arrive there? I have no clue. So, if Poppy is the Doctor's daughter, the Doctor's daughter. If Jenny comes back, I said the doctor's daughter out loud, and I was like, season 4, series 4, the doctor's daughter. Jenny, the anomaly that was created as a clone of the doctor, kind of. Using his genetic information, they created a daughter for him. And she like regenerated at the end, right? So she is part-time lawyer or something like that. So the doctor did have a daughter. She never came back. But what if she did? This feels like a long shot, but maybe I'm just gonna mention it because it might happen, but I don't know. However, I'm thinking about this, and it's like, Poppy, how does it connect to the doctor? Because like Poppy's a space baby. That is the part that is throwing me off. I vaguely remember space babies. I'm sorry, like I don't remember exactly. I can't go back to check. If Poppy's the doctor's daughter, according to him, well, he says I have a daughter. Period. Poppy is real. Period. 2 sentences. I don't know. Poppy is Jenny. Jenny's Poppy, and one of you have Susan. Maybe you give birth to Susan. I don't know. The lady that was standing like a weeping angel of old in End of Time that just kept showing up to give Wilfred some cryptic messages. And people were like, is that the doctor's mom? I don't know. It's the doctor's daughter. I don't know. The doctor's family is such a weird like thing that we don't really think about. We don't really look into very much, because at this point it doesn't really matter very much. But like, if we're gonna start asking questions on that venue, because Susan matters now and Poppy matters, and the doctor goes like, I have a daughter, do you know what that means? Poppy's real. I don't know. If you have a daughter, that means, okay, if you have a daughter, that means 1, you give birth somehow, or someone that you knew give birth. 2, she's a time lord or time lady. 3, she may or may not be Susan's mom. 4, she may or may not be Jenny. Anything else that I'm missing? I don't know. I don't know what it means. I'm sorry. I'm overcooking with this one. And honestly, I'm going to be real with you. I want to go. I just want to leave. I'm hungry. I've been sitting here for like over 2 hours, and I've really been craving food for a while, and I've just been talking, and I'm kind of dying here. So I'm just going to go, and I'm just going to keep thinking in my off time, what did the doctor mean? And if I come up with any like theories, I'm going to tack it on as an audio right at the end of this. So yeah, I'm just going to do that. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in for this episode reaction to Doctor Who. See you guys next time. Bye-bye. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in for this episode of Doctor Who. If you would like to watch full-length reactions to the entire season, you can do so over at the Patreon. Check out the links below. Social media, all sorts of cool stuff that I do. See you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.